So my grandpa was in the hospital, and my grandmother had passed away, along with my aunt and uncle. And my grandpa said that he saw my grandmother, a vision of her, and she was dressed in white, and she was singing the most beautiful song and motioning to him. And he became a believer. He became a believer, and he wanted to go to heaven. And I mean, literally, I was 2 years old, but my grandfather lived until I was like 9. And I remember my grandfather being just like so in love with Jesus, and how he just longed to be in heaven with Jesus and, his loved ones. So even though he was very brokenhearted over the loss and the accident and all of that, and it was a terrible, horrible suffering time for my family, God used it to get my grandpa's attention and to be his salvation, really. And he made me remember that day. Um, and so I ended up calling my brother, and I my brother Donald, who was the other survivor of the accident. And I told him what my experience was that morning. And I asked him, I said, "Did you realize that Grandpa wasn't a believer, before the accident?" And he says, "No, I never really thought of it like that." And, Laura, I have prayed for 40 years and asked the Lord, why did he take my parents away? And asked him why for 40 years. And I believe that he brought this to you today to let me know and to answer my prayer. And I believe that I was, spared as well, so that I could grow up and know the Lord, and my kids and my grandkids. And I could just hear the tears in his voice, how much it meant to him that God didn't forget that prayer. And, we both talked about how it wasn't necessarily that God did this bad thing. That was the fault of a driver, drunk driver that ran the stop sign and all of that. But the Lord used it to rescue my unbelieving grandpa into his kingdom. And the suffering that we, as